Good morning, traders. Welcome to my video journal. Today is Thursday, April 25th. It is 6:28 a.m. You have about 2 minutes till cash open. Let's dive in really quick. I think we have a little bit of time typically because we don't like to engage in the first 10 or 15 minutes of cash open, so there's no real rush here other than just trying to get to a point where we can stop talking and start focusing. At least that's my goal. So purpose of these videos is basically accountability. It's my video journal. It's it's a tool that I use to keep myself accountable, like I said, and to review at the end of the day to see where my thought process was when I engaged, when if I was planning correctly, and if my thought processes was accurate or stayed consistent before, during, and then preferably after a trade. So what you're looking at here are price sliders, order book, depth of market, whatever you want to call them. There's 5 different products here. We're going to move from left to right and just introduce real quick. This is here on the left, the Ultra Bond symbol UB. Next to that is ZB, which is the 30-year. Then you have the ZF, which is the 5-year. Then you have the ZN, which is the 10-year. And then all the way here on the right is the ES, which is the E-mini S&P, which just opened. You can see that. We reset the range when it opens. So I use this as an inverse. It has an inverse correlation to these products over here. So inverse meaning when the E-mini is going up, these products should all be selling down. That's typically a healthy market. Just provides another clue. So I typically don't teach you how to use this product, this platform. If you want more information on that, Google Jigsaw daytradr, or look at their YouTube channel. They got tons of videos out there. They also have a lot of training products. If you buy the platform, it's relatively inexpensive, and it's really the only way to scalp, in my opinion. Only way to intraday trade. You can't use charge to intraday trade. That's just, I've tried it and it doesn't work. Okay, so let's see what happened overnight. Pretty much nothing. You can see the range is very, very small. And some of this happened during pit. So we just sort of went sideways. We had 16 half sell off several times. Pit opened and it kind of spiked. Spiked up to 16 half, in fact, slowed down, exceeded the overnight low by a couple ticks, and then popped back up. We had, let's see, we had durable goods come out this morning at 5:30. Expectation was 0.8%, and it came out as 2.7, so that's really good for the markets. It's a good beat of expectations. So yeah, when that happened, pretty muted response. You got a little bit more activity when the pit opened, but like I said, there just hasn't been a lot of activity thus far. Markets seem to be on pause, and that might have something to do with GDP coming out tomorrow at 5:30 a.m. So that plays into our context. Again, we're just gathering clues. So let's look at other announcements on the economic calendar. We had weekly jobless claims. I mean, nobody really pays attention to that, but it was estimated 200, which pretty much is every single week. And it was 230 was the actual number. So again, not really a big mover. Coming up, we have Kansas Fed Manufacturing Index. Not really a mover. And then we have a 4-week bill auction at 8:30 a.m. Pacific, and then a 7-year note auction at 10 a.m. Pacific. That might move markets a little bit. We had the 5-year yesterday that did a decent amount of shake and bake. But we'll see. So as far as areas of interest, obviously the overnight high would be a nice area to engage. There's also this profile step here. Kind of keeping an eye on that. That rejected several times overnight. And at the open of the pit. So it looks like it rejected basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. But like we've said before, first 10 or 15 minutes of cash open is typically an excuse to bust through levels. Like we'll sort of disregard, especially profile steps, transitioning from overnight to, real trading. But yeah, so that's why we're a little apprehensive to engage during these volatile, little periods of every day when announcements are coming out, or when cash open, or so on and so forth, or when we have note auctions. So as far as context, I mean, we had really small range overnight. It seems kind of like a slow day. This is what Monday looked like when I woke up, and I just decided to go kind of do other things with my morning, as opposed to sitting here trying to fight not fight it necessarily, but just babysit it, I guess. So we'll see what happens here. Maybe cash open is going to kind of interject a little bit of life to the markets. But as of right now, we're just going to kind of clean everything up. We got the ZN, the 10-year approaching the overnight high. We're going to expect some sort of pushback there. And that would be a good opportunity to try to sell this back down. Like I said before, the Treasury products are typically, and I say typically with an asterisk, a oscillating product. So they oscillate around a center point, which we've highlighted here as this is called the point of control. It's the most traded level of the day. And typically what you expect is for this product to regress back to the mean. So a mean regressive product. There are times when this thing will bolt one way or the other. It's pretty rare, but it happens, and that's why you always want to have a stop loss in place, because when it does bolt, it's gone. And it will rip your face off. And it will destroy your account. So always have a stop loss. You're better off taking a big loss than a complete and total loss. So what do we have here? We have, we're still only 8 minutes into open. We have E-mini coming down. It's pushing the 29.20 level. Starting to develop a little bit of volume here. That means that buyers could be stepping in to push this thing higher. Also seeing some little bit of selling coming through here. Got a little bit of a volume node developing. These are all clues. So what I'd like to see, they're getting some pretty good pushback as soon as you step up into this area. They just immediately slap it back down. That's good. What we kind of like to see is what we might have saw already, which is where this just gets slapped down a couple ticks, and then you get a retest, and that's when you want to try to enter to push this back down. So that's kind of what we're looking at as of right now. Just start watching the markets. Yeah, see, this is kind of what we want to see. So let's check this big offer here. If it starts to trade, that's a good thing. If it trades through, that can be a good thing too. As soon as they hit up into it, it starts to pull off. I guess not. It's kind of staying there. Keep an eye on these guys over here. If the 5-year starts pushing the highs, okay, so given the context, we have small range, kind of a muted price activity, traded up into that, and it didn't pull off immediately. So that's good. All these clues are kind of working in our favor. This bid's already pulling off. We're having that inverse correlation of seeing it already with between the ES and these products. So when this ES pushes down, this starts to push up. We just got filled. We need this to hold while the ES figures itself out and starts to push back up. If it continues to sell off, it could put too much pressure on these products here, and they could pop this level. I want to hoping this guy's real. Okay, good. Getting that pushback that we're looking for. you can see the ES making new lows and the bid puffs up over here. Offer's starting to pull off a little bit. It's about 6:45, so about 15 minutes after cash open. Maybe a little bit too early to engage here just because it takes about, like I said, at least 15, 20, 30 minutes sometimes for the ES to work out its initial okay, this is exactly what we want to see. So they lifted that entire bid, or lifted the entire offer over here at 18. It's 7,000 up. Immediately pushed it back down. We got 6,000 on the offer, and then another 7,000 over here with 2,000 up. So they mean business here. If buyers get through this, they're going to have to earn it. We had the 5-year up at the highs, already sell down a couple ticks. 30-year ultra bond are all selling down too. Just need the ES to behave. Still trying to lift that offer. Keeping an eye over here. Ultra bonds down a couple ticks. So this black line is kind of where, I try not to reset this during a trade, but this is where we were when we engaged. You can see, it just gives you an idea of how far down we are. Ultra bonds 3 ticks down, 30 years 2 ticks, 5 years 2 ticks. Kind of stalled out a little bit here, not digging that. Let's clean this up and just... Okay, so we got one off. ES is pushing higher. That's good. We're keeping pressure on these guys over here. The only wrinkle I see is that ES is pushing up to the VWAP, which is typically where the ES traders like to push it back down. So again, I've said this 100 times, but this is the toughest part, is figuring out when to take profits. What I don't want to do is let this come all the way back up and scratch. It's basically like I might as well trade a one lot with a 2-tick target. There's no sense in doing that. But based on what's been happening, I don't expect this to come all the way back up. If it does, well, who knows really, but if it does, it's, you know, it's more these big guys that came up here are just they're covering their positions. Because there was some pretty good size that came through up here. The other important thing to kind of keep a note on, or to have, you can pull data on this, but your trade expectancy, try to figure out what that is. Is it 2 ticks? Is it 3 ticks? Like what do you typically expect? I know you have targets on your trades, but historically, how many ticks are you typically pulling out of a trade, out of a move? Is it 3 ticks? If that's the case, you can make sure you set your targets there, and then also maybe try to put a runner on to take a little bit more. I better get my stop loss in here. So ES could drop back in. We could pull up a couple more ticks, and then sellers could sell it back down from here. So let's do this. Let's put 1 tick on there and 1 tick on there. It's a stop loss. So this one is protection for this target. This one is protection for the runner that we have setting at the overnight low. I mean, but we're still trading down. I mean, we've had one little back tick, but that's pretty much nothing. It's definitely not indicative of buying at this point. We got some pretty good size still hitting down across all products. This stalling is not fun. I think I'd be used to it by now, but it just feels eerie. I don't like it. Okay, 5-year one offer at 15. We're going offer. See if we can continue this push down. So we're back to the point of control. We've reverted back to the mean. Let's see if we can get it to, the pendulum can swing back all the way to the other side of the mean and then buy it back up. It's only 900 something in the queue down here. Should get filled. Still no back ticks across all products. BS still putting pressure on. Well, at least it was. $800 something in the queue. Let's go. Okay, Ultra Bond's down. 30 years down. 5-year officially went off at 14. Okay, so we got that one. Let's see how much farther this guy can push. So this is a pretty good initial push down. Normally, you see, we kind of saw it, it back ticked a couple times on the first attempt up here. But this push down this means sellers mean business here. Haven't really seen much of back ticking thus far. Still pushing lower. Ultra Bond's pushing down. Still no real buying on any products. day like today would have been a really good day to up my lot size. I could have done this on a 10 lot, I think. Just given the context, given the short range, given everything that was playing into it. But that's all right. Okay, so 5-year just went off for there. Yeah, sellers are just bulldozing this lower. This is really what you'd like to see when you're short. Oh, so here we go. This is our first initial pushback. Have this big bid here. This might be the... that was the first attempt at trying to push this thing back. Kind of got slapped back down. Let's see if they keep it up. See if buyers keep pushing back on it. Still no buying anywhere. We're not at any level where you'd expect buying. Still sort of in mid-range here on the 5-year. Back to the point of control on the 30-year. You'd expect buying down here in the Ultra Bond at the lows, but we're not there yet. So I got my target at 14. Basically, that's the overnight low. And that's before we get this taper off. Just want to be kind of conservative with targets. Don't want to get greedy. Ultra Bond offer at 03. 30-year offer at 06. Keeping an eye on this bid. It's not pulling off yet. Just in case that pops back up, I just want to lock in the profits. You might get slipped on that. It's not unheard of. This guy right here could be the same guy that was up here. That's still up here. Especially because they're hitting down into it and it's not pulling off. So they're just trading this range today. They're going to put up roadblocks on each side. Looks to be the case. Okay, so we got stopped out. I'm okay with that. Just want to check and make sure. Okay, so we didn't get slipped on that. Totally fine with it. Yeah, you can see this is where buyers decided to step up. Up 3 ticks on the Ultra Bond. About 2 or 3 ticks on 30-year. So given the context, that's kind of what this gentleman, or probably hedge fund or whoever the fuck this is, they're just playing this range right here. Just muscling it up and muscling it right back down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Nice, short, sweet. Just to do a quick recap. We identified the overnight high as a place to engage. We got up there and we saw pretty strong responsive selling. We were able to get filled, and we worked it down back towards the point of control. Pretty good trade. This is exactly what you want to see. It's exactly what you want to this is exactly what this is all about. to be honest. Context was great. We knew this wasn't going to bolt higher, especially when they started developing this volume node here. Sold it, traded right back down in. Doing that with size, 10 lot, 20 lot, that's the game right there. So yeah, this is a really perfect example of what the possibilities are. Anyway, I am off to Tahoe tomorrow, and so I won't be around Friday or Monday, and Tuesday might be kind of rough too because it's a bachelor party. So I will see y'all next week. Happy trading. Good luck.